Hey, this is Christian Cardamone. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Build Better Blueprint. All right, guys, I've got another mini episode for you today. I just want to speak directly to you self-managing investors out there. I know a lot of people are trying to save money, trying to do it on their own. And, we're not curing cancer here. We're not reinventing the wheel. It's just property management, but it is another job and it is something that you need to do and take seriously. And so the ones who've decided to take the reins and manage their own rental property, I get it. It can save money, it can give you more control, and it will teach you a lot about real estate. So, more power to you. The truth is, though, managing your own rental is a real business. And if you treat it like a hobby, it's going to cost you. It'll cost you in time, it'll cost you in money, it could even cost you in lawsuits. And I've seen it happen. So, I just want you to take this seriously. If you are a self managing investor, just listen up for a second and maybe share this with someone who also owns some real estate and is doing it on their own, because property management is really, really easy until it's really, really hard. So, in the interim, the first thing you want to do when you are owning a property is get it legally and financially set up. So, you need to open a dedicated bank account for receiving the rent and for all the property expenses. Mixing the funds is a rookie move and will complicate your taxes and legal protections. People dropping off deposits for you at the bank, people doing Venmo, people doing Cash App. You need to just get financially set up and have one income stream in and one out for all expenses. So it's really important. You also need to learn your landlord state tenant laws, because in North Carolina, Chapter 42 of the General Statute will give you most everything you need as far as notice periods, eviction procedures, deposit handling, all that good stuff. And speaking of deposit handling, if you're holding a certain amount in security deposits, you're required to use a trust account or secure a bond. So do not skip this part. A lot of people get the deposit and then they're off to the race to go shopping or to put it into Bitcoin or something, but that's not your money. That belongs to your tenants legally. You need to have a paper trail of how much it is, where it is, and you need to be able to return it. And a lot of folks think that that's the last month's rent. The security deposit in North Carolina is used for damage to the property. And then after that, it's used for any unpaid expenses associated with the lease. So really important. Also, consider creating an LLC to shield your personal assets. Your rental is a business, so just make sure you're treating it like one. If you have a rental property and it's owned by an LLC, then there's a lawsuit. The attorneys are only going to be able to go after what's held by the LLC. So they will not go after you personally. Well, actually, they probably will. You can get named in just about any type of lawsuit, but this is going to mitigate as much as you can on the front end. So you're doing everything right if you do have a corporate entity that's housing the asset. The next thing is using a written lease, and use the right one. Never rent to anyone without a lease. Full stop. Use a state-specific lease. So don't just grab something off Zillow. Don't grab something off the internet or ChatGPT. Get something that's used by the state bar. It's recognized, and it's something from the Board of Realtors. Honestly, that's the best place to go, because it's going to already have been litigated 1,000 times, and the magistrate is going to be familiar with it. So they're not going to have to dissect it, and you're not going to have to either. If you do have to evict somebody and you're using a standard form, it's very easy for everyone involved to interpret. So if you have some 50-page residential lease, it might be good, but if it comes time to enforcing it, it could end up costing you a serious amount of money in legal fees, getting an attorney to translate it, basically. So on the lease, you need to clearly spell out all the rental due dates, late fees, responsibilities for utilities, maintenance, and termination terms. Also, make sure that renter's insurance is always part of this discussion and it's written into the lease. That will protect you, because the first time something happens, the tenant is always going to call you first and have their hand out, and you need to point them to the phone number on their rental insurance policy. That's going to protect you in most cases if something comes up, the property, if there's damage, if there's a storm, if there's mold, whatever. First line of defense is the renter's insurance. So make sure they have that. Next, you have to have a tenant screening process. So there's a ton of tools out there. Rent Prep, TransUnion, SmartMove, Turbo Tenant, all these things will check credit, criminal, and eviction history. You always need to run credit and background on tenants. Don't skip this, no matter who's a friend of who, how you know that person, whatever. Just make it a absolute firm policy. You've just got to do credit and background. Also, because you also want to verify the identity of these people, because they're signing a legal contract with you. Even if you feel good about these people and you want to let them in, you have to make sure that they are who they are. So this is another good reason to do all of this. And you have to have standards in writing and apply them consistently to make sure that you're not breaking any fair housing issues. It's a big deal there. You can't discriminate. It's very, very clear in fair housing. So if you're going to do one thing, you have to do it for everybody and just have a lot of continuity there. Also, verifying income is one of the most important things beyond credit and background, because you want to make sure that they have the money to pay the rent after the first month. A lot of people can gather up first 1 or 2 months, but beyond that, you want to make sure that they have steady income and always check landlord references. So I got two more. Last four, create a system for rent collection and maintenance. So there's softwares out there. I use Appfolio at my firm. There's Buildium, Rent Ready, Rent Manager, but you just want to have an online platform or a portal for tenants to go and pay rent. You want to make it as easy as possible. A lot of these softwares will even use pay slips so that you can, or direct deposits so it can track them all. Just don't be the kind of person who's got rent coming in 5 different avenues. Put it all into one simple source, have it come in. It's easier to track. Nothing will slip through the cracks. And then enforce your rent policy every time. So no partial payments, no exceptions. If it's going to be late, charge the fee. Sometimes if you want to be generous, waive it the first time, but you've got to set the tone for how this tenancy is going to go. So it's due on the 1st, it's late on the 5th. After that, there's a fee. That's how we do it in Wilmington, North Carolina, most of the time, depending on your lease. But it's really important you have that discussion. Also, need to build a go-to vendor list. You're going to want handyman, plumber, HVAC, pest control, and don't wait till something happens to start Googling it or trying to figure out who's going to come and bail you out of this thing. So build your list and get ready to use it. Last thing I want to mention to you is just document everything. Before somebody moves in, you've got to have photos and videos so you can document it, what it looks like, and keep all this communication in writing, share it, make sure everyone agrees that the pictures and the videos that you have are all, everyone's on the same page. Phone calls are really tough to track, so you're just going to want to make sure you've got it in writing, track everything in and out, all communication, all pictures, everything. That way, when it comes time to disperse the deposit at the end of the day, it's nice and easy. So, managing your own property, it can be rewarding if you take it seriously. One wrong move can undo months and months of income. So I think if you just take these 5 steps and use this as a foundation, you'll be off to the race to be doing something right. If you need more advice, you need more insight, reach out to me. I'd love to help you, point you in the right direction, give you some resources. And want to thank you for listening, and tune in next time. This has been the Build Better Blueprint. Alrighty.